Welcome to Virtual Gardening 101. This is a place where we dig into the digital soil and reap real results. Let me extend welcome to my returning subscribers. Thank you so much for the support on this journey. And if you're viewing the channel for the first time, let me extend a special welcome to you as well. Today I'm going to be talking about Gungo peas. That's what we call it here in Jamaica, and in other places they call it pigeon peas. I'm gonna be focusing on some of the pests that affect this plant and how we can manage them without creating harm to the environment. In the long term, these steps will benefit our health as well. Stick around at the end of the feature and I'm sure you will learn something. I did not plant these Gungo trees. In some places they call it pigeon peas, botanically known as Cajanus cajan. They're actually the offspring of trees I planted about 2 years ago, if my memory serves me right. I simply allowed the pods to dry on the trees before I harvested them. Some of the pods opened before I could gather them, and the seeds, as the parable of the sower says, fell on good ground. The conditions were just right for germination to take place, and that's how these new trees came to be. Lately though, I've noticed that the foliage is not looking as vibrant as it should. The leaves of the older trees seem almost as if they are blighted at first glance. The trees are also dealing with infestations of scale insects, aphids, and the black stink bugs. Ants have also moved in, drawn by the honeydew, and honeydew is a sticky, sugar-rich substance secreted by sap-feeding insects like the aphids. The black stink bugs are particularly concerning because they are capable of killing the trees if they are not dealt with in a timely manner. And I am speaking from experience. I have been doing my little backyard gardening for quite a number of years, and Gungo is one of the long-standing plants that I have been cultivating. But it was not until the pandemic came I noticed that these black stink bugs started to show up in my local. I have seen them on the young shoot of a ackee tree recently, but they are mainly attracted to leguminous plants because over the time they've infested my beans, red peas and string peas, and I'm really sorry I don't have pictures to show. I never know that I would end up producing content. To combat these pests, these are some steps that we can employ to manage them naturally. As an environmentally conscious person, I will always advocate for things that will do little or no harm to the environment and ultimately, our health. As far as scale insects and aphids are concerned, you can use neem oil spray. So the neem tree produces seeds that can be dried, and then they can be pressed and the oil can be extracted. I get to understand that an extract can also be obtained from the leaves. And the neem oil or the neem spray is very effective because it disrupts the life cycle of these pests depending on when they are applied. So it's very important that you know your pests in such a way that you attack them when they are most vulnerable. The black stink bugs, you can try a garlic or chili pepper spray, and garlic in particular can be used as a natural broad spectrum pesticide and insect repellent to protect plants from pests. Garlic's strong odor repels common insects including the aphids and the ants that I'm having a problem with here. When you're applying these sprays, you gotta make sure that you spray the underside of the leaves because the insects tend to lay their eggs in these locations. As far as the ants are concerned, if we manage the aphids and the scale insects, then over time we won't have a problem with them, because remember, they are attracted to the honeydew that is secreted by these insects. It is also said that you can encircle the plant with a diatomaceous earth powder, and it is a powder that is made from fossilized algae, and it can help to reduce insect population as well. Please note, I'm not sure if it is sold here in Jamaica, and for it to be effective it has to be applied in dry conditions. So if the air is wet or moist, it won't work as it should. Gungo is also affected by pod borers and different type of worms. Collectively we just call them bugaboo here in Jamaica. And for this reason, some people, you'll never get them shelling gungo because they are so afraid of these worms. To control pod borers, you can try avoid planting the peas too close together. Installing pheromone traps, and pheromones are chemical messages released into the environment to elicit various different behavioral responses in members of the same species. So I just think that this would disrupt the communication that would go on, and in turn this would help to reduce the rate at which they are able to reproduce. You can also install bird perches, so the birds would come in and they would feed on them. Let me caution you with the use of the bird perch, because while you're using it to invite or to encourage birds to come in to control the pod borers or the worms, be mindful that the birds themselves will become a problem later on. As soon as the peas is ready to harvest, if you're not careful, they will start harvesting it before you. So you have to go in and constantly monitor, and then you can take it from there. I am really happy that Tropical Storm Raphael didn't do any damage to my trees, because I passed by my neighbor's house and noticed that he had to be supporting some of his trees with stakes, because some of them were blown down and some of them broke the wind that we got. Fortunately for my trees, they are located behind a wall, and so it provided a buffer from the heavy winds that we got. As I've stated before, I've been planting gungo for many years, but for some reason I've not been able to plant and reap within the same year. I normally like to have some gungo to cook during the Christmas period. What I normally do is to harvest and keep some in the fridge at the bottom, for that time, because what you're seeing here, I'm not sure if they will come in sometime in, say, February or March, depending on when they start to blossom. If you know how to plant and reap within the same year, you can let me know in the comment section. I want to thank you for taking the time out to come over to Virtual Gardening 101, the place where we dig into the digital soil and reap real results. This is a new channel, and I'd really appreciate it if you could give it some support by, first of all, liking the content and sharing it with somebody, because the aim is to bring about awareness. I welcome your feedback in the comment section, and you could give the channel a further boost by subscribing as well. Once again, I want to say thank you for stopping by, and I'll catch you in another one.